Welcome to the Transforming Trauma Podcast. This is a new complex trauma podcast through the NARM Training Institute. My name is Sarah Buino. I am a psychotherapist and licensed clinical social worker in Chicago, and I'm also currently at the time of recording this, a NARM student. I'm here to share with you, what is NARM? What is complex trauma? Why are we even talking about this? This episode is really not designed to give you all the information, but designed to tell you what we're going to talk about throughout season 1 of this podcast. We want to have a conversation about healing from developmental and complex trauma. So again, for definitions of those, make sure you tune into the next episode to listen. We'll talk very specifically about what complex trauma is and how it's different from shock trauma, and also within that, the difference between CPTSD and PTSD. We're going to talk about why the heck it's important to talk about complex trauma and what that means for us individually as well as a collective in society. We're going to talk more specifics about the NARM model, and I'll just let you know here, NARM stands for Neuroaffective Relational Model. And in the next episode, I'll really get into the details about what that actually means. And then who is this podcast for? It's for everyone. If you're listening, it's definitely you. We really want to have a conversation with anybody who's interested in the topic of healing from trauma. Throughout the season here, we're going to be interviewing experts in the field of trauma, as well as folks who are newer to working with the NARM model specifically. So you're going to hear an assortment of experiences, and you'll get to hear just how incredible it is to work with complex trauma and watch people heal and grow more connected to themselves. And since I'm your host, you might want to know a little bit more about me as well. So as I said before, I am a student of NARM, which is the Neuroaffective Relational Model that's developed by Dr. Lawrence Heller. So I'm a psychotherapist. I have a private practice. I also teach at a couple universities for master's level social workers. And I came to be a student of NARM after going through another training in a somatic modality. And for various reasons, it just didn't quite feel like the right fit. A friend of mine who we will be interviewing at some point in the near future, her name's Dr. Bianca Harden. She had gone through the training, and there was something so gorgeous and beautiful about the shift that I saw happen in her. And it's so hard to really explain and describe, but it was like this light turned on inside of her. And I had already loved her before. She was a wonderful, amazing person. But then after, there was just something beautiful that shifted. And I said, I want that. And so I immediately signed up for the NARM training. So I mainly focus in addiction, and that's where I started my career. And right when I graduated from grad school, I met Brené Brown for the first time and learned about her shame work and got really immersed in that training program. And there was just something missing for me about that work. I'd been working on my shame for almost 10 years, and even though I felt some level of relief from the shame, but there was definitely something deeper inside that I just couldn't get at. And there was no therapy that I had found that could get at it. And I actually thought, I'm going to have to make something up. I didn't do that because I found NARM, and NARM actually it fits in the pieces where I had a bunch of questions and felt like there were kind of gaps in the way that we work with folks who have experienced shame and addiction and trauma. And so I am so very happy that I found this modality and that I get to share a piece of it with you all as well. Well, that's about it. I hope this little short intro piqued your interest for what you're going to be hearing over the coming weeks and months as we interview more guests and just talk more about healing from complex trauma. So please stick around, especially for the next episode where you hear all the details about the concepts that I've just shared with you. Thanks again for being here. To find more information about the NARM Training Institute, you can go to www.narmtraining.com/transformingtrauma. Thanks to Andrea Klunder and the Creative Imposter Studios for producing and editing, and to Tori Essex for our album art. We look forward to building community and connection with you and changing the world by transforming trauma.